Good morning, everybody. It's Elaine, and I'm going to show you how to get this base finished so we can have some stitching time. So I've pinned all these down, all but these last few, and I'm going to just go ahead and pin these ones in place. I'm just folding it under a little bit and placing it on top of this. I don't want any raw edges, so I'm going to fold this side under, and I'm going to fold just like that, and I'm going to put a pin right here where I want this to be. And now I'm going to put this one, let's see if I can find a little bit bigger piece. Here's one. A little bit bigger piece here. And I'm going to fold over this edge and put it right on top of this one right here. Now I need a little bit more. Fold it on the top. And there you go. Let's stick a pin in it. Let's see, we got this little corner over here. This little corner over here. And we got this already folded under, so we'll stick this underneath it. And there we go. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, before I move on to actually stitching these down, I need to piece together the pockets for the inside of the notebook cover. The pockets are 9 by 6.5. I use graph paper to give me a nice square piece, or actually it's a rectangle. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm just going to lay fabrics on here till I see what I'm working with. And then this piece is a little big, but I'm trying to put about 5 pieces on each pocket, which is, I use 5 pieces of fabric. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we need a little one up in here, so I'll just use this again. So there we go with our pockets. Now I'm going to do the same process by just folding under and placing a pin so we have no raw edges. And then so we're going to do our pockets now. Okay. We're going to we have to cut out some pocket fabric, and this is just the same muslin that I used for the base of my composition notebook cover piece. And I'm going to just fold this in half so I can cut out 2 at one time. And I'm just going to place this right on top. just right on top of here. Put a couple pins in it, and I'm just going to cut these two little pieces out. It's better to do your pockets while you're doing your base, because then you still have the same fabrics in front of you that you used on your base, and you're not trying to hunt for them later when you're finally finished stitching on your base. So I like to just go ahead and get these all ready so that I don't have any trying to find fabric or anything that might have got misplaced since I started stitching, because it takes some time to do the stitching, and you want to make sure that you've got your pockets, and you don't want to have to hunt for your fabric. So I just cut this out. Cut out 2 pockets. And I'm going to say the size again, 9 by 6.5 is what these pockets are. Our base fabric right now is 19 by 14.5. So this piece right here is 19 by 14.5. And the pockets are 9 by 6.5. And so now we have our 2 pocket bases, and we can just put our fabric on here, like I showed you a little bit earlier. Not being too particular about pinning, because as I'm stitching down, I actually fix anything that isn't bright or anything that's a little rumply. I'll fix before I stitch it down. But I just want to get the pieces onto our little base fabric for our pockets. And it's a warm morning here in Florida. Okay, so we almost got it. I'm going to put this little piece at the bottom here. So that took about like 6 pieces of fabric. And I just used the same fabric I used on that. And then I got matching pockets. When I first started making these, I would forget to do the pockets, or I forgot to do the pockets. And then I had to look for the fabric, and it was just a real pain. So now I always do my pockets. And so when I'm done stitching my top, I go right to stitching on my pockets. And then I've got the whole thing done. Now there we go. You see, these are sticking over a little bit, but I'll just go right ahead and I'll just cut them off even with my pocket. Just like that. And now we got our one pocket done. Now I'm not going to do both pockets because I just showed you that. But I'm going to tell you that I use a nice heavy quilting thread, or I use size 12 cotton thread for different colors. This one is the one I'll probably use for this because it's got, you know, it's about the same color green as the rest. And I might use a little bit lighter one to do the yellow ones a little bit. Or if I have a yellow, here's a yellow, but it looks a little brighter. I might just go ahead and use this. But then I'll just do a running stitch along every little seam. Now, you can use your sewing machine to do this. I just prefer the needle and thread. I have sewing machines, and over the years, I've just realized that needle and thread is my go-to thing. It's what I love to do. There's just something about the needle and the thread, and the sewing machines are great. I use them to actually sew the whole thing together. But in this process, I just use a needle and a thread, and I do a running stitch on every little seam. And it doesn't take me very long to do that. But then I've got a nice flat surface, and I'm ready to do my stitching. So let's finish this last pocket, I guess, and now that we've talked about threads, well, we need some more fabrics, don't we? Here's my fabrics right here. Like I said, I picked 5 fabrics, and that's what I go with. I go with 5 fabrics. You can use more, or you can make it more random than this if you like. But this is just the way I like to do it. I like to have my fabrics kind of get along with each other, so to speak. And I don't want them fighting with each other, so I try to keep them, you know, within the same color range, or I'll pick like an inspiration fabric, and I'll pick fabrics that match with that. I didn't do that this time so much, but I really did like the fabrics that I picked. So now I just cut out little pieces to go on my pocket. And like I said, it takes about 5 or 6 pieces for the pockets. And then listen, so you can, you know, use smaller pieces or larger pieces. It's really up to you. It's just an intuitive way to work. And I'm just going to make this one kind of long and put it across the bottom. Well, that looks pretty good. Okay, so now that I'm got all my pieces for my pocket, I'll just pin these together. I'm just going to start up here at the top. And I'm just going to fold over the edge. And add a couple of little pins to it right here as we're working along. Okay, and then I'll just trim off this extra fabric up here. Okay. So now we have our 2 pockets and our base. And now what I do is I just get busy to stitching. I'll take a piece of thread and a nice needle. And now I will stitch all along this pin seams. On the pockets too.